In 2016, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a bold decision to change the denominations of the 500 and 1,000 rupee banknotes, which accounted for up to 86% of the circulating currency's value. The decision was implemented swiftly, leaving everyone stunned. Following the conclusion of the G20 summit in early September, Prime Minister Modi announced that he would convene a special government conference from September 18th to 22nd. Some opinions suggest that the significant decision may be on the horizon. During the G20 summit, Prime Minister Modi, a member of the BJP party with a nationalist Hindu ideology, chose not to use the term India and instead referred to the country as Bharat throughout his interactions with foreign leaders. It is not ruled out that during the upcoming government meeting, Prime Minister Modi may formally announce a change in the country's name. Additionally, he may announce changes to the timing of federal and state elections. Elections from now on will be held simultaneously every 5 years, which will save both money and organizational costs. Both of these speculations, if realized, would serve a larger purpose that Prime Minister Modi and the BJP have long pursued: the centralization and unification of India, a vast and incredibly diverse nation in terms of ethnicity and religion. India is the largest country on the South Asian subcontinent, covering an area of nearly 3.3 million square kilometers. It has a population of approximately 1.4 billion people, comprising hundreds of different ethnicities, languages, and religions. Since coming to power in 2014, the BJP has been striving to lead India towards a more unified model, similar to that of the European Union. This vision involves strengthening central government authority and promoting the cultural identity of the Hindu faith. The government consistently emphasizes that India is one nation and therefore should have unity in various aspects. For example, the government implemented the One Nation, One Uniform policy to standardize the uniforms of police forces across the country, instead of having different uniforms for each state. Now the government aims to have a synchronized nationwide election to prevent different states from having elections at different times. In terms of economics, the government's focus on policies of concentration has generally been well received. In 2017, Prime Minister Modi introduced the One Nation, One Tax strategy to enhance domestic market integration. According to various surveys, in the fiscal year 2020-2021, 4 years after its implementation, the value of trade between states increased by a significant 44%. This is attributed to deeper economic integration among regions. Currently, the government is actively constructing highways, airports, and railways to connect the people of India more closely. In recent times, digital payment policies have addressed the headache of traveling without cash, as many people wanted to venture beyond their own states but did not carry physical currency. Businesses operating in multiple states also find it increasingly convenient. Initially, the economic and social unity policies of the Indian government have shown some effectiveness. However, they have also encountered several issues. Firstly, there is a rift in the relationships between certain states. Southern India comprises several wealthier states with developed industries, while northern India is generally less affluent and primarily agrarian. Southern India includes 5 states: Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Telangana. The northern region is home to the 2 poorest states, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Southern India is wealthier, has better healthcare, education, gender equality, fewer caste disparities, and a smaller Dalit population. In the 2011 census, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar accounted for 25% of the national poor, compared to about 21% in the South. This gap has widened. In 2022, nearly 8 years after Prime Minister Modi's BJP party came to power, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh accounted for 26% of the national poor, while the South reduced to 19.5%. Currently, the per capita GDP of southern states is 4.2 times higher than that of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, increasing from 3.3 times in the 2011-2012 period. Southern states also contribute 25% of the national tax revenue, compared to only 3% from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Present-day politics is also becoming more divisive between North and South. Currently, no state in the South is led by the BJP party. The BJP-led government is perceived as a northern government, prioritizing the Hindi language. Karnataka is the only southern state where the BJP has a significant presence in the legislature. In recent elections, the BJP faced significant defeats. These differences are causing tension in at least 3 areas: finance, culture, and power distribution. Firstly, there is a cultural issue. Southern states in India have long been dissatisfied with the imposition of culture and language from the north. In 2019, the Minister of Home Affairs, Amit Shah, stated that if there is one language that should be used the most to unite the nation, it is Hindi. Immediately, southern states erupted in protests. Many allies within Amit Shah's BJP party distanced themselves from his statement, viewing it as the opinion of an individual. Politicians from the southern states argue that their language and culture represent support for social justice, gender equality, and the liberation of people from ancient feudal hierarchies. Regarding finance and economics, disagreements have also been on the rise. Many states complain that local budgets have to allocate nearly all their resources to education and healthcare, which they find unreasonable. In the fiscal year 2021-2022, state spending accounted for 64% of India's public expenditure, but their revenue only contributed 38%. This makes states more dependent on the central budget. The amount each state receives depends on the various factors, such as population size and economic health. Southern states complain that they contribute too much but receive too little. This exacerbates economic disparities. Thirdly, there is the issue of power distribution. The Indian Constitution dictates the number of representatives each state has in the parliament based on its population size. This allocation has remained unchanged since 1976, even though population dynamics have shifted. In 2002, the Indian government said it would review this allocation in 2026. However, since the 1970s, populations in southern states have decreased by about 5%, while Uttar Pradesh and Bihar have increased by 3%. Based on the 2011 census, some argue that the number of seats for southern states should decrease by 18, while Bihar's representation should increase. Many have compared the fact that one legislator from Uttar Pradesh represents 3 million people, while one from Tamil Nadu represents only 1.8 million. Some voices warn that without substantial reform, such as reallocation of seats in parliament, India could end up transitioning to a more federalized system with a single central government in the next generation. In May 2023, India inaugurated a new parliament building with a capacity for 888 lawmakers. Some officials believe that Prime Minister Modi may soon reform the seat allocation to be fairer. The idea of holding all local and central elections simultaneously has also raised concerns. Some criticize it, saying it only strengthens the advantage of the ruling party compared to smaller parties in each region, especially in the south. These parties would have to compete in 2 elections simultaneously at the federal and state levels, potentially making them weaker. As for the BJP, they explained that holding elections in each state at different times would lead to significant wastage. Moreover, it would also affect delivery of government services because politicians would have to spend more time campaigning. Simultaneous elections, they argue, would optimize resources and time, save money, and enhance the administrative capacity of governments at all levels. Currently, the debates on this issue persist, causing divisions between the central government and the states, as well as between the North and the South. Since coming to power 9 years ago, Prime Minister Modi and the BJP have achieved many significant milestones. For example, they have gradually upgraded infrastructure, elevated the nation's status, abolished the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, and subsequently established a new administration there. The upcoming special government session in the coming days may not rule out the possibility of announcing a change in the country's name or something similarly significant. According to some observers, regardless of the plan, Prime Minister Modi and the BJP should exercise caution to prevent further economic and social divisions within the country. Our World Affairs concludes here for today. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to having you in the future programs.